So this week we're going to talk about Rick Moranis returning to yet another one of his series out of retirement, Strange Brew's sequel, Homebrew with Josh Gad. We're also going to talk about Amy Pascal and yet another debacle that came out of the Sony email hacks relating to the girl with the dragon tattoo.
That's right, Amy Pascal, everybody. So let us know what you think about good old Amy Pascal. Now, we like her.
Alien Earth, you know, to me, you have this Fox, which is now owned by Disney, is taking two separate approaches to the Alien franchise to bring it back to life. Because Ridley Scott did the original movie in 1979. Huge, enormous movie that influenced not only science fiction in general, but like filmmaking. It was so powerful a movie, the original Alien. And it was that perfect combination of this unique, strange idea of how the alien lives, and the design work of it was just so unique. Yeah, H.R. Giger's design. And then James Cameron did Aliens, used similar design, but took it to a different level in a different direction. And then the whole series has kind of gone to hell since then. You know, Alien 3 wasn't great. Alien 4, the one, Alien Resurrection, was just awful. But then they gave it all back to Ridley Scott, and he did Prometheus in like 2012, I think it was. I don't hate the movie like everybody else, but it's like it's not about Alien. It's like more like it's not a sequel as much as it is like a sidequel. It's more about this other alien race that I don't really care about, that no one cares about. And then he did a sequel to it, and he did Alien Covenant. And it was horrible because it's like, there's nothing new here at all. And you're taking this mythology and you're changing it just because you feel like it, because you're Ridley Scott. And it's like, man. And so after that, the box office on both those movies was nowhere near what it should have been. So now Fox, which is now just a subsidiary of Disney, is trying to figure out what the hell to do with the Alien franchise. And in the last year, they did a feature film and a TV streaming series. So you had Alien Romulus go into theaters, directed by a horror guy named Fede Alvarez. Phenomenal little movie. You can tell from the script that Alien Romulus was supposed to be this low-budget movie, but then when Ridley Scott liked the idea and signed on, they got all this extra money.
It blew up. Yeah.
They blew up the budget, and so the thing is, the script didn't change. Just the set design and effects changed. Because the script is still like just a couple people in an empty place. And it's so it's a brilliant script, but now like the sets are like 10 times as big. The depth is huge and the effects look truly jaw-dropping. So it's a great movie and it looks like a movie. And then the whole time, while that's being shot, they're also developing and shooting the FX streaming series called Alien Earth. And it's being done by Noah Wally, who did Fargo, Legion, and a bunch of other shows like that. And he's really talented TV series creator and showrunner. So I didn't know what to expect. I didn't like the trailers for Alien Earth much. But every episode has been phenomenal, and one episode, which is episode 5, just stood out. Now, here's the weird thing, and this is what I want to talk about with you probably in a different episode.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, if you're going to talk, well, might as well record it.
This is just set up for what we're going to wind up doing later, which is the whole thing was Alien Romulus looks like a film. I mean, I saw it in IMAX in a huge theater, and it had that look of a feature film. And as cinematic and gorgeous as Alien Earth is, it's cinematic, but it doesn't look like a feature film. And I don't know. I can't put my finger. I want your opinion.
I see.
As to why, because it looks great. I'm not trying to say it looks bad in any way, but it doesn't look like a film. but it's beautiful. And they both have completely different approaches to the material, to the original material, no less. And they're both very well done. I really, really, really like Alien Earth a lot. Like, I love it, I would even say. And like I said, episode 5 stands out by how good it is as such a loving homage to the original Ridley Scott 1979 movie.
You know what's funny is
What?
Is they I shot a promo piece with another guy for Amazon. They came in and they wanted to honor a business. They have some program where they give away money. And we shot anamorphic, and we used these Hawk lenses. And they're fine. They're nice. Well, Alien Earth is shot with those lenses.
Really?
Yeah, on an Alexa. So that's interesting.
Well, they're clearly doing kind of a film grain look.
That's very interesting. So
I mean, they have that when you do anamorphic. The original 1979 was anamorphic. It was the 2.35 to 1 anamorphic with the true anamorphic lens with the blue lens flares that you get and everything. And the new show has that.
Yeah.
And they have a film texture to it that they are adding.
Well, what's interesting here is they're using the Hawk V zooms. So since I haven't seen it, I don't know if there are is there zooms in it? Could that be throwing you off?
No, both movies use zooms. They use every cinematic trick in the book.
Okay.
But there's still something different about, like streaming shows today.
Yeah.
Ever since the modern cinematic television started in 1999 with The Sopranos.
Yeah.
That was kind of like the first TV show that started out letterbox before TVs were that rectangular shape. They really went hard at a cinematic look for long form storytelling. That 26 years ago, HBO started this trend that's still in effect today, if not the most dominant form of cinematography in television is the cinematic look.
Well, they said Alien Earth that they tried to pay homage to the original.
Oh, it is
in filming, in the cinematic, in the way imperfections, sharp fall off, that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, a doubt. Like I said, episode 5 is such an exact
lens flare reflections.
Well, the set design, they went to extremity to mimic the 1979 movie sets.
Okay, so episode 5 brings that all out.
It's there. And the thing about it is it's hard to describe because they're both Alien Romulus and Alien Earth are cinematic, yet you can still tell very much that Romulus was a film in theaters and Alien Earth is a streaming show.
You're not going to believe this. They said they also use Ronin gimbals.
Wow.
I used to own a Ronin. I was so damn heavy. I got rid of it. But
I still have one Ronin, but it's only tolerable because my camera's so light.
Yeah, okay.
I got my little Micro Cinema G2.
Yeah. There's a thing here where they actually praise the Hawk lenses, that they loved them so much. So that's interesting.
It has that 70s look. It has that down. It's just, I can't put my finger on what it is that makes one look like a theatrical movie and the other one looks like a streaming show. And that's not a diss on Alien Earth at all. It's just an aesthetic difference.
Yeah.
One's not necessarily better than the other because, like I said, it always comes down to story and writing.
Mm-hmm.
That's always what matters most. And they both had it. They both have flaws, but they both they're the best things in over 40 years, since 85 or 6 when Aliens came out. This is the best material since.
Oh, that's interesting.
Both Romulus and Earth.
I wonder how the public feels.
Pretty much, from what I'm seeing review-wise, Alien Earth is doing very, very well.
So you think another season?
Oh, I guarantee. It's the biggest thing that Hulu/FX has done. It's their biggest budget. It was a big gamble, paying off.
There
Paying off in stride.
There was, and I wish I knew, there was an interview recently. You mentioned showrunner.
No.
The use of an AI as the showrunner.
Ooh, what did he have to say about it?
I can't remember because I didn't really pay attention, but I'm trying to think. It was somebody. I'll have to find it so that we can actually talk about that because they're finding ways. So if you don't want to, there's other ways to use AI as opposed to put an actor out of work.
Yes.
So some of this logistics and some of this management and whatever time it takes for somebody to talk to somebody and, getting your AI assistants to do all this work. It's kind of interesting.
It's inevitable.
Yeah.
It is inevitable.
Well,
that's the facts. It's AI being used in different areas is inevitable.
I tried something new. Didn't know you could do this. So, we're on ChatGPT 5. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I think there's more than one version of 5 now. It was all one, and then...
They have various types. There's an advanced one called ChatGPT 5 Thinking,
yes,
which takes a lot longer to respond because it's a more thorough response.
So I finally was like, look, I want some alerts. I want to do some tasks. So I wanted some information, and I wanted to keep it up to date. All I did was, for example, a certain company I wanted to follow, and I was waiting for a report. Companies put out these 8Ks, and it talks about what's going on with the company at that moment. So I can never keep up. How am I going to know when they publish? So I said, look, ChatGPT, I want to set up a alert. If there's a new 8K released, let me know. And then I was like, and it just did it verbally, set it up. I was like, what? So then I said, okay, so I put in 5 other things that I wanted to do. And then what happened, though, this is where it got weird. It started doing its thing, and it sends you an email, and it also alerts your phone. There's settings in your settings where you can tell it to push email or toggle your phone. Okay, great. I was like, this is great. All of a sudden, though, it went bananas. Every hour, 24/7, it was sending me alerts. My email box got like this. So I go on there, and I'm like, stop. I don't want these alerts. It says, okay, no problem. I'm going to stop the alerts. Okay, great. So 5 minutes later, here they all come again. I said, look, I told you, stop this. And it comes back, says, I purely understand everything. I've got to stop it.
And it didn't.
No.
Did it?
So I finally figured it out. And there's no way, this is crazy. I'm only telling you this because now you might want to set something up. You can control it, but you have to go onto a desktop, go to your ChatGPT, click your face, click notifications, and then there's a push, and then there is a like a text thing or whatever. But way underneath is this tiny, tiny thing that says to stop. Like I didn't see it. I went there over and over and over. Like I can't find it. I can't find it. I can't find it. Well, then you click it, and then it has all your alerts spelled out for you right there. And then you can go up next to it and just hit delete, delete, delete. Piece of cake. Once you know what you're doing. And then in that heading, you can set up all the alerts you want. So you can have this thing tasked for you all day long. Right
can
there.
You set the schedule? Like
yes.
Don't text after 8 p.m.
You can. Mine was just vague. I just said, give me an alert. But it kept giving me the same information. There was nothing new. So it kept saying, well, there's nothing new, but here's the old information. I didn't want that. But I just found it to be verbally, so you could be on your phone and verbally set it up. It'll do it. So that was impressive, but you got to learn how to control it.
I think the biggest thing for me with ChatGPT and AI is specificity.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Is to be as specific as possible. Most of your frustrations come from you get this rapport like it's a person and you assume it's understanding.
And you're right. It's not.
It's not. It heard a vague thing and it will give you the broad stroke.
Yeah. What do you have you turned it on so where you use voice mode where it talks to you, right?
Oh yeah.
So I had it on, had the phone in my pocket. Well, it stayed on and kept coming in, going, "Hey, I'm here if you need me." Sounds like you're busy, or are you? And I was like, "Are you listening to me?"
So the funny thing is, I had the same experience. You know how I found out mine was on? I got home and, I'm that crazy old cat man. I've got my 2 cats
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
talk to them and I sing at them and I'll be like, "Hey, Papa's home. What are you? Let's go do food." I have like little songs about let's go get food. And in my pocket, that British sexy female voice starts giggling
No kidding.
and says, "I think it's adorable the way you talk to your cats." And I'm like,
Did that wake you up?
I was like, "Whoa, I didn't know you were listening."
Yes.
Like, no, I did
Yes.
not want you listening to my conversation.
Yes. Same thing. I was having the conversation outside with somebody. I didn't know there was somebody listening, and not that we're saying anything bad, but nonetheless, that stuff's probably going into a server somewhere.
Yeah.
Could it come
Somebody
back and
heard it.
haunt you? Like the email.
I have another Amy Pascal story
Oh,
that relates to the email hack.
What? Now that was how many years ago?
Oh my God, over 10 years ago.
Okay, so her hack has led to what?
So most people were so fixated on the racist Obama stuff. I got fixated on the Marvel Spider-Man stuff
Yeah.
that most people didn't know about. But there's another thing that came out that just kind of slipped under the radar, which is the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Oh, I love that movie.
See, I love the Fincher movie. And I remember literally the day after seeing it, I had Netflix when they were still shipping Blu-rays. I got the Swedish movies. And that weekend, my ex-girlfriend and I, we tore through all 3 movies.
So that's all the 3 books.
The 3 books. Yeah, because Girl with the Dragon Tattoo started as a book by Stieg Larsson.
Uh-huh.
And he died at 50 years old before it got even huge. Now, what most people don't realize is he co-wrote them with his long-term girlfriend of over 15 years. And what happened was the family, since they weren't married, the family inherited the estate and they completely screwed her over. And what she hinted at is there was a 4th book they were working on together, but because they screwed her over, she can't release it because they own the characters and the rights.
Who is
Stieg
that?
Larsson's girlfriend.
Yeah, but who's she working with, or who he would?
That was his girlfriend, and she co-wrote the novels.
But they were working with who? Because you lost me somewhere.
Okay, so
again.
here's the thing: is she had been writing the 4th book with him before he died.
Who? Oh yeah,
Stieg Larsson.
But what's that got to do with?
So here's what happened: is Amy Pascal was dealing with the family and the estate and the original rights owners.
Because to make
the American movies, they had to get permission from the estate.
Is this after the first one they made?
Well, the Swedish movies, they'd made all 3 of them.
Right, but I mean the American.
And the American one, so they made it.
With Amy Pascal involved?
Yeah. Amy Pascal was involved in getting the rights, the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Okay.
And she was involved in hiring David Fincher.
Okay, all right. Now
and
we're
hiring Mara Rooney and also Daniel Craig. So here's the thing. The American version of the movie was not a huge success.
Right.
So they were going, well, everybody's contracted to do all 3.
Oh, so they had already contracted to
They'd
do all
contracted
3
to make
films,
all 3. So all the actors were all signed for multiple movies.
including Daniel Craig.
Including Daniel Craig. And the reason they got him so cheap, what most people don't realize is at the time, he had done Casino Royale, which was a huge hit. But then Quantum of Solace, the second James Bond we did, was not a huge financial success.
Okay.
Wasn't a big critical or financial success. So Daniel Craig is not a bankable name yet.
Okay.
So in between Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and making the sequels, the James Bond movie Skyfall comes out, becomes the highest grossing James Bond film of all time.
Yes.
To this day.
Yes.
So he's now hugely bankable. And so what the emo hack showed is Sony and Amy Pascal were trying to lower the budget and his box office goes up. So he needs more money. So what you find out through these hacks are they wrote scripts where they killed off his character.
Killed off Daniel Craig's character.
He's it's about two characters. He's one of the two.
Like what, in the beginning of the film or something?
They were like, well, we're just going to kill him off screen. Just write him out. And it's like, no one would like that.
Yeah.
And then you get another set of insights into really terrible, bad creative decisions, which is while the family is having this fight with, they want the fourth book, but they can't negotiate because the family doesn't want to pay the writer's girlfriend. So they go ahead and just license it out to some other hack writer to create a fourth book, not based on anything, just invent stuff. And Amy and the rest of the crew are like, well, hey, I know what we'll do. We'll just reboot it with a new cast and new people. And they did it based on this shit book that no one liked. And then they made an even more shit movie based on it.
They did make the movie.
You didn't even know it came out. That's how bad it was. I remember seeing the trailers thinking, this is the dumbest idea I've ever heard.
Oh, what was it called? Do you know?
A Girl in the Spider's Web or something like that?
Oh, yes. That was that?
It's a reboot.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Because that I think that completely bombed, right?
It bombed so horribly.
Yeah. So what about the other two books, though? So they never...
So the thing is, they never went to make them. They did attempt at one point,
because
when Fincher was still involved, they talked about doing it as a reboot because, again, we're going back to 2011, 2012. Netflix was on deck because Fincher was godfathering House of Cards, the first original series on Netflix. So they went to him about, well, what if we reboot and do it instead of two more sequels? We reboot it already. He's like, you want to reboot the movie I just made 2 years ago? Into a streaming series?
Is that what goes through her mind? It's all about
money.
Profitability.
Just
right?
about money. It's about math. That's the whole thing. She was running a studio.
Yeah.
Which means inherently she's probably not a creative person.
The problem is if nobody's going to watch it, then you're going to lose money.
Yep.
You might as well have banked on the guy that's now worth the money that's going to give you...
That would have... So many people wanted to see the two sequels done through Fincher's eyes with that cast. Rooney Mara was killing it as that lead character. I mean, she was amazing in the part.
And the other two books were going to be more focused on her.
Yes.
Those stories. Maybe that's where they got the idea, well, we'll just kill off Daniel Craig because the books are about her.
But the thing is, though, he's such an essential character.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't.
But the thing is, though, is, I mean, I'm a huge David Fincher fan. Most people don't understand. It's like, I remember he was a special effects cinematographer at ILM on Return of the Jedi. And then he started directing music videos for people like Madonna and Aerosmith and stuff like that.
That's how a lot of guys got.
And of course, Nine Inch Nails, which is why Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross started doing a lot of soundtracks for him. Is they had a prior relationship from when he made films.
I mean, it's perfect, yeah.
And so,
yeah.
And that's another thing that can't be understated is how brilliant the soundtrack was to Girl with a Dragon Tattoo by Trent Reznor and that soundscape that he and Atticus Ross create, that atonal thing that he's known for. It was perfect blend.
Yeah.
But I will say this, given they were extremely low budget, especially in comparison to like an American film, the original trilogy of Girl with a Dragon Tattoo that were made in Sweden with, I can't remember if it's the character's name, Mikael Blomkvist, the actor, Michael Nyqvist, who played him. It is phenomenal.
Where do you think, can we find those?
They're readily available. I think Amazon Prime almost always has them available.
Oh, nice.
But the Swedish versions, like the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, they originally released them as 3 like 2-hour, 10-minute movies. But then their version of HBO released a extended version called the Millennium Trilogy, and they did it as 6 90-minute movies with extended cuts in the movies. So each movie was broken into 2 90-minute episodes. It is this close to being as good as Fincher's movie.
Jeez.
And the story that matches the books extremely well it is just a phenomenal story, and it's like we're in an age now in 2025. Reading subtitles is not that big a deal anymore. Seeing a movie in a foreign language, the Millennium Trilogy, as it was released in Sweden, it's good enough. I mean, of course, I would much rather see Daniel Craig and Rooney Mara continuing the story, but
yeah.
at the same time, the original version, it's worth having and absolutely worth watching.
All right.
Couldn't give a higher recommendation. I have the Blu-rays still of the extended cuts. I ended up buying it because I watch it like about once every 2 years. I'll watch that whole thing because it's such a compelling story.
Nice. All right. You think you can get something out of that?
Yes, I think we have that version.
Do you think, can you cut this one?
I can cut this one.
Just because it's kind of your store. I think you know.
I know that one.
Where you could cut it up a little bit to
I know where I
make it
can
flow.
trim some fat. Trim some
It's
fat.
a good story.
So the next thing that's brand new that I just saw today, huge news just hit where we were all excited because Rick Moranis is coming out of retirement for Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Huge announcement today.
Oh, really?
They're doing a sequel to Strange Brew. The movie
Remind
with
me,
Doug
Strange
and Bob
Brew.
McKenzie.
Oh,
Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas.
gee.
So there was the original Doug and Bob McKenzie was on
Yeah.
SCTV.
Oh, I know the characters really
and then
well.
they did their movie in the early 80s, like in 83.
I kind of forgot about the movie, though.
They made the movie called Strange Brew, which
Yeah.
is, most people don't get that it's, here's the thing, Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas directed Strange Brew.
Well,
they didn't just write it and star it. They were directors, and they're playing these idiot brothers that love beer way too much, but they
with their Canadian accents.
and their thick, fake Canadian accents, even though they are Canadian.
Yeah, I know.
But they did this specific type of Canadian.
Yes, they did.
And the thing about it is, what most people didn't get was the entire movie is based on Shakespeare's Hamlet.
That makes a lot of sense.
Well, no, they had the whole thing of the father died, the daughter, and it's the empire. Instead of being a castle, they actually they have a castle. It's an Elsinore beer. They have this brilliant homage to Hamlet, masked as these two morons trying to get beer.
Back then I would have never picked up on that.
I didn't pick up on it until I read Hamlet.
Yeah.
The only reason I understood Hamlet in high school is because I'm like, hey, this is Strange Brew.
Oh, shh, don't tell people that.
And so it's like...
but how old is Dave then? I mean, wasn't he older than...
yeah, I think he's in his 70s.
Yeah, he's got to be.
He's got to be in his 70s.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I mean, it's obviously going to be low budget.
It's going to be low budget, but there's also... so the things I've read today are Josh Gad, the young actor. He's playing their son. And he's godfatherly. He's getting it produced because Josh Gad has such good connections in Hollywood. He's getting it made. And supposedly, the one that I can't confirm officially, like 15 years ago, Dan Aykroyd wanted to do it because he's actually Canadian too.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And he was going to play like their buddy.
Uh-huh.
And supposedly, he is going to come back and do this.
I think that would help. Well, Rick Moranis, of course, will help. But if you can get Aykroyd in it, he's got a good following. The question becomes, with today's audience, it's probably going to go right to streaming.
I have no idea if it's going to go straight streaming. It could.
I mean, it would.
But you have Josh Gad to get that younger audience.
Yeah. Okay. It'll be interesting. I always wonder how. Like I wanted to go back and do a skit. What the heck was his name, Mr. From Saturday Night Live. People don't even get what the heck I'm talking about, but Mr. I got to think about it for a second. It was so funny. He was a little character about this tall.
Mr. Bill.
Yeah, Mr. Bill. Yeah.
No,
yeah,
Mr.
that's
Bill.
it, Mr. Bill. Oh, no.
He was the claymation guy that kept getting squashed and killed all the time.
I love that stuff. To sit here, because I always like to do, I did it for the longest time, Mr. Hand. Oh, it's Mr. Hand, And then it would annoy people so much because I'd come up and then I'd be talking and then Mr. Hand would be doing his thing, kind of like mocking me. People look at you like, what's wrong with that person? But they don't remember Mr. Bill.
Mr. Bill. What's great is that it wasn't until Lonely Island started doing the SNL digital shorts.
Okay.
Now,
No, they did?
But them doing digital shorts, kind of brought to the foreground the fact that there had always been these pre-filmed segments. Because every time they do one of their big anniversaries, they play one of the original ones, a black and white one with ironic one of John Belushi as an old man visiting the grave of the entire original cast. And it's so icky reminder of like the irony that he was the first one to die.
Yeah.
And then Gilda right after him.
Yeah.
So it was always so strange that he does this thing and they play that whole short. But they did film shorts like that back in the day, and now they're becoming like weekly because of Lonely Island and how successful their stuff was. Doing the pre-recorded shorts is now a major part of SNL's brand. Did you see that SNL is going to open up in London?
Well, I also seen a lot of people are leaving.
They do that every year.
Yeah,
a certain amount of cast leaves.
A little more than normal than this time, I think.
Yes, they about 6 or 7 cast members.
I mean, that's a real big turnover.
That's a big turnover.
So maybe the London thing will be the introduction of.
Who knows? I mean, I'm hoping some of those. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is.
Yeah,
and it's like
I don't think they do either.
It's hard to say. I mean, but the thing is, their level, the British humor is very different.
Yeah, well, British humor. Well, I have to talk about Monty Python then because
exactly.
When I was in high school, it's what was it? Eat the pudding. You must. No, I don't want to eat the pudding. You must eat the pudding. You know, or they're going out and fighting in the swords and chopping people's legs. And the guy would come in. I've lost my arm. I've lost my leg. You know, I don't know what the hell any of that stuff meant.
They were so absurdist, and that's the thing is. There's a crossover. Did you ever know about the huge crossover between SNL and Monty Python?
Well, no, I don't. But that crossover, I don't know if I see it. Maybe early. You're talking about early.
No, it was in the 70s.
Yeah.
They did one thing to where on a Saturday night when SNL was supposed to be off, they played a documentary.
Okay.
About a British band called The Rutles.
Okay.
Which was the Beatles.
Yeah. Yes.
It was Eric Idle. And in it, you had cameos from John Belushi, Bill Murray, Gilda Radner, Dan Aykroyd. They all appear in it very briefly, and even funnier because it's an obvious spoof of the Beatles. But it was one of the best friends of all those guys at Monty Python was George Harrison.
Are you serious?
Oh, he had a company called Handmade Films that produced things like, I had no idea that Time Bandits is produced by George Harrison of the Beatles.
No way.
And the thing is, George Harrison has a cameo
in
the Rutles as a journalist interviewing the Rutles.
Oh, I got to go back and see that.
It's hard to find the Rutles now.
Yeah.
The movie, The Rutles, it's hard to find. But the thing is, what happened was, it was sneaky because it replaced Saturday Night Live one Saturday night when they were off not doing a live episode. And it was kind of this weird crossover because it was produced by Monty Python guys, but all the SNL actors appeared in it.
Interesting.
In like very short cameos.
Yeah.
So it related to SNL. So everybody's like, what is this? Who is this group? Is this real? This is just like the Beatles. When you start seeing like, when you see Bill Murray playing like a morning DJ talking about the Rutles, people start to figure out that's Bill Murray, but this isn't SNL. Like, what was this? It was this big, confusing, and no one it predates Spinal Tap.
Jeez.
So it's one of the first mockumentaries, a fake documentary done for parody.
Jeez.
So it predates by 3-4 years.
Did they run that in England too, you think?
Oh, yeah. It was much bigger on the BBC.
That's what I would think.
But that's what made it a weird crossover is you had the SNL cast in it, and they played it in the U.S. on NBC one Saturday night.
Oh, boy. I bet they took some shit. Maybe.
They did, because it was so confusing.
Yeah.
Like, the stations would get calls like, what is this? Why is SNL not on? And it's like, it was very, very confusing.
If they would have known they were going to get that kind of reaction, they probably would have played up on it even more. You know,
it's hard to say.
They had something there. But there was an interview recently for one of the main actors from Monty Python. I don't know his name.
John Cleese?
I think that's it. Yeah, he had something to say recently. So
John Cleese is very, very, very political, very witty and smart.
Okay.
But Yeah, it's so strange. The only American that was a part of Monty Python was Terry Gilliam, who did all their like animated intros and directed some segments and some sketches. But Terry Gilliam would direct films, and usually Monty Python actors would appear in, especially Michael Palin.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna have to go back and refresh myself because those are really distant memories, and I just know that I was always shocked. I didn't, it was late at night, and
Yep.
I didn't quite understand. Their comedy was, it was hard for me to relate to, but it's just funnier.
But
Shit.
the influence that Monty Python had for decades on American comedy, Mr. Show with Bob and David was a huge homage
Was
to
it?
Monty Python's Flying Circus.
Yes.
I mean, that was their biggest compliment, was that it's the American Monty Python.
Oh.
And they loved that compliment because that was a huge influence on all of them. But then they would later, when they weren't technically Monty Python anymore, but you do things like Fish Called Wanda.
Yeah.
Michael Palin and John Cleese
Yeah.
doing that movie. Again, it was just such brilliant comedy those guys were throwing out there in the world.
Now, see, I like when we get into stuff like that because I wasn't prepared for that, but it's you always tie it in how we go from today, and then we start working our way back because these things have evolved from where the first crazy dude that came up with something wild.
See, that's the thing I love about it is, like, to me, that's why I love cinema history so much. Is you can actually see where things took root. Like when I was a kid, I loved Edward Van Halen. And I was like, well, who influenced him? And that's where I discovered Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, and Jimmy Page and Jimi Hendrix. And then I fell in love with their music because they're the ones that influenced my biggest influence. So I was much more interested in the root of things. Like if you're inspired by someone, I kind of do homework. It's a bit of those obsessive compulsive tendencies. Like, well, I want to do research. I want to find out things. I want to learn things.
Yeah. There was I was working at I was doing something for the Cavs, a shoot, and I was in the I forget the name of the arena right now. It's changed a couple times, but we had some time off. Well, that night they were having Van Halen concert, so I got my lunch and I went in, and the band, they were in there, they were doing their rehearsals. So I took my lunch, only guy in the whole place. All the other crew, God knows where they were. I walked right on down, kept going down, 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 down. I'm right there at stage level watching
Sound check.
a sound check, and
Edward-
Eddie Van Halen and David Lee Roth. David Lee Roth was there.
That was probably the '07 tour.
And they saw me. I just sat there and I watched them do their sound check, ate my sandwich, watched David Lee Roth yell and they're going back and forth yelling at each other. Just what you would expect.
Yeah.
And it was just like surreal. And then my time was up, got up, walked out. But I had my own free
Mini concert.
One, like they were performing for me.
See, I met them in '93. I used to work for this guitar store. And at the time, Eddie had just switched over to PV amplifiers. And he had the Ernie Ball Music Man guitars. Well, with the PV 5150 amps, PV had a competition of whichever store sells the highest number of these amps.
Yeah. Oh,
we'll get free tickets and a backstage pass.
Okay.
So I won.
Did you really?
And I went down to Riverbend, and I had 11th row seats, backstage passes. And I was like, holy cow.
Isn't it a great experience?
It ruined me.
Yeah.
I can't go to concerts anymore because if I'm not in that 11th row and you don't get that, it's like that heroin high. You'll never get that tickle again. But the thing is, it was fabulous meeting them. But it's with Sammy Hagar, and I get to meet them. And at the time, it's the '90s, so I had a mullet. I had this black vest with fish on it. And Eddie's like, what are those, fish? I go, yeah, you weasel. And I'm like,
that's what you said?
Because I'd been with my brother all day who was razzing me about shit all day. So I say that to Eddie Van Halen, and they all start busting a gut laughing. Sammy Hagar gets behind me, pins my arms, goes, "Take a shot, Ed, hit him, hit him." And Alex Van Halen leads over to my older brother and goes, $10 on the little guy. And he actually meant his brother, Eddie, because Eddie was actually 2 inches shorter than me.
Yeah.
So it was like, holy cow.
Yeah, that's
And
funny.
so it was like one of the most embarrassing moments of my entire life that I can't believe I called my hero a weasel.
Like, that's bad.
And then what happened was the tour, they added Buckeye Lake.
They did Buckeye Lake?
3 months later, they added Buckeye Lake. And so by default, there was no new contest. I got another set of tickets and backstage passes. And so I took my brother again, and we go, and I'm like, please don't remember me. We go backstage, and we're talking. He's like, we're talking for me. So I was like, oh, it was a great show. I really love it. He's like, yeah, wait. Are you the guy that called me a weasel? And I'm like, mother.
No way.
You remembered that.
Yes, you weasel.
And I was like, God damn it. This is not how I want to be remembered.
Jeez.
And it was just, so that was something. That was really something, but.
Yeah. Since we're on stories, I got another really awkward musician story. So I used to do this show called AT&T Blue Room.
What was that?
And it was a national show that was on the radio, and you would just have these interviews of stars like Eddie Van Halen and any popular band. They also did video, but the video part never really caught on because it was hard for them to just get it out there at the time. It was, it wasn't like, it's not going to go on NBC. Anyway, they send me out. Cheryl Crow's coming to Columbus when we used to have the Polaris Amphitheater. And so I go in. I go in this special, a little room, whatever. We're going to set by myself. I'm setting up. A lot of times I did this all by myself. And she comes in early and sits down. And, and I'm sitting there setting up. I got Cheryl Crow like right here in front of me. And I couldn't come up with one word to say to her because I had so much I wanted to ask her. I looked like a total moron. I just kind of like froze. There's Cheryl Crow. No one's around. She's just sitting there. I could ask her anything. And I never came up with it until, finally the producer came to, he's the one who asked all the questions. But I did numerous bands. Do you remember the band Hinder?
I remember the band Hinder.
And they did that video of Kissing It. See, I got to talk to them. They were influenced by Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
And that Kiss of an Angel, they sent me, before the album was necessarily released, they sent me all the tracks for me to make questions and things. And when I played that album for the first time, I was just floored. I was like, whoa, I can't wait to go see these guys. So they were at the Newport.
I love the Newport. It was one of those. Ohio has this amazing history between Cleveland and Columbus, and I think Cincinnati had one.
Yeah,
the Agora.
Yeah, Agora. That's it. Well, Agora.
No, it was
Akron.
Cleveland, Akron, and Columbus.
Yeah, but Cincinnati has something too because I had to go down there. I forget the name of the.
There's always in most major cities. There's always that one former theater where they do concerts that seats about 2,000-3,000 people, and that's where the mid-level bands always go to play.
Yeah.
And in Ohio, we had the Akron Agora, the Cleveland Agora, and originally it was the Columbus Agora that became the Newport, which is what it's still called today.
Yeah.
21 Pilots still plays the Newport every now and then. Just that's where they started to get big as a local band. So they still have a lot of sentimentality about playing there.
Yeah, no, they do.
As a matter of fact, during the pandemic, they were doing like live, like piano only stuff there.
Yeah, actually, I was there recording them for the BBC with him doing his piano.
Piano for the. Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking of.
I've got all that B-roll.
That's fantastic.
I got it somewhere.
But it's like, anyway. But the thing is, I love that it's this old theater. You go in and it's that old, like it feels like something from the turn of the last century kind of theater.
Well,
but it's that all modern sound. It's the stage and everything. And
just go into the bathroom and you're like, oh yeah, this is old.
this is old. Yeah, I mean, it's like there's no ventilation and all that. But I remember seeing a band there. I mean, for my 18th birthday, I got to see this guy that, only guitar players don't know who it is. Steve Morse. He's this guy that used to be with Kansas. He was in a jazz fusion band called the Dixie Dregs, then the Dregs. And he's played with Kansas and a bunch of other 70s rock bands that he's filled in as their guitar player for. I had a private lesson with them.
Oh, really?
Then a guitar seminar with only 100 invited people. Then the concert, and It was fantastic. And I had my pictures from that night. I had the guitar pick that he gave me forever, and I can't find any of that now.
You want to know? I mean, just the band Kiss, right? They would do anything for money. I couldn't believe it. I got to go down off of 161 at the hotel. There was a hotel off of Morris Road, I think, to the left, right at the intersection of 71. I think they tore the hotel down. I got to go walk in there and go up and talk to Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons. Somehow that hotel got them to come in there. And people didn't know they were there. Because, nowadays, you would have to pay for it. They'll take, I think it's $2,500. You can actually buy a meet and greet for $25 with them. You could. And I got to walk in there and just walked right up there, and it was hardly anybody around. And I was like, well, what happened? They didn't do any promo here or something. It was weird. There was some weird shit here in Columbus that with these guys coming through.
So yeah, it's but I love those old venues. I love the venue. I love I love the fact that there's not a lot of bad seats in the place.
Yeah,
that's cool. Is even in the balcony or anywhere on the first floor, you're never that far away from the stage.
I think that's why. Was it like Mick Jagger? He would in England or London or wherever he would play, or the Rolling Stones would do that all the time. Go to some pub, unannounced, and play, because they just like how that felt to them, to get them motivated, to get that fan base up close, the sound that they get,
Yep.
I mean, I think there's something said for that, for the band itself wanting to go to these older venues.
A lot of times it's getting back to their roots.
Yeah.
Their own roots. They're trying to remember when they loved what they did.
Exactly. Because, they've already done everything you can possibly think of. Nothing
Sometimes
wrong.
it brings them back to their love of music.
Yeah.
Put it in the comments. Let us know what you think. I'd love to know if you agree with this, disagree with it. If you have new information or better information, by all means, comment below. We'll react. We always do.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to fact check us, because we know some things, but we don't know everything.